Hello everyone, welcome to today's live session, Becoming A, the complete blueprint for financial freedom, feminine power and leadership. It promises to be an exciting one. It's divided into different parts. We'll be handling different important topics within today's session. To start with, we'll be dealing with the inner foundation, because you can't build wealth or impact without wholeness. So we have to deal with that foundation before we go any further. I want to ask you something. I want to ask you that you should do something for me. Just pause and take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Let this moment be sacred. This is not just another video, another talk in the background while you multitask. This is your invitation back to yourself. To the woman underneath your to-do list, the job title you bear, the role of mother, wife, sister, and friend. This is part of the journey where we stop performing and start becoming. Now, I want you to hear me clearly when I say this. There is no amount of money that can heal an unworthy heart. There is no business that can fill a woman who is constantly abandoning herself. And there's no leadership role that will ever silence the voice inside you that says, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, unless you choose to do that work from the inside out. And that's what this part of the blueprint is about. We have to first undo your inner foundation. Because everything you are building, whether it's wealth, impact, legacy, freedom, whatever it is, will only rise to the level of your self-worth. So let's begin there. I want to tell you a quick story. Years ago, I was sitting in a meeting room full of powerful people. These were being made, ideas were flying here and there. Everyone looked the part, polished, prepared, and confident. And I sat there quiet, as if no idea, just nodding and taking notes. But something inside me felt so small. I had the ideas, I had the experience, but I felt invincible. That's and on the drive home, I was just thinking, and I pulled over and I cried. Not because they didn't see me, but because I had stopped seeing myself. That moment was a turning point for me. I said to myself, if I keep shrinking, I will never lead. And I will never lead anything. And that day, I choose to expand. And that's what I want you to also do today. So how do you begin to expand? When the world has trained you to shrink, you begin by reconnecting with the woman you are. Yes, you reconnect with the woman you are, with the woman you are beneath all the noise. And here's a practice I want to give you. Get a journal or just whisper this to yourself. Ask, who is this woman I'm becoming? Not what she does, but who she actually is. Just sit down and ask yourself. Is she a calm woman? Is she unapologetic? Is she abundant? Is she bold? Just try to discover yourself. Write that vision. Name her, own her. Because everything you build should be built for her, not the exhausted version of you who is still trying to prove something. Because becoming her, it starts from the inside. Now, let's talk about this, the guilt. So many women feel guilty for wanting more. I don't blame us. The society has made us like that. We feel guilty We feel guilty. Sorry. We feel guilty for, for almost for everything, for wanting more money, for wanting more freedom, for wanting more rest, more joy. We feel guilty because society taught us to be grateful for what we have. And yes, gratitude matters truly, but it doesn't mean you should be small. It doesn't mean that you settle for the same thing that is not making you happy. Now, you are not wrong for wanting your life to feel full. You are never wrong. You are becoming a woman that you want to be, and people are challenging you that you are wanting too much. You are a woman becoming whole, and wholeness includes wealth, joy, peace, and even impact. Now, there is something I want us to say together. I am safe to expand. I am worthy of wealth and leadership. I give myself the permission to desire more without guilt and without any form of apology. Becoming I is not about changing who I am. It's about returning to who I've always been. God has made you a great woman. That's who you are. But the society has killed some potential, some morals inside you already. So choosing to become her is just choosing to become who you already are. Let it come forth. So as we move forward into the next part of this blueprint today, the money map, I want you to remember this. Money, success, leadership, they are tools. But the true foundation of everything is you. The most valuable asset in the room you will ever have here is the woman you are becoming. You are the one. So don't rush past her. Don't underestimate her. Never, never underestimate yourself. Honor her. Because from this place of worthiness, every door can open. Now, I want you to take a deep breath and get ready. Now we are going to start building. I've said that wealth is not about what you earn, it is about what you build. Now that we have laid the foundation, I mean the inner foundation, we are going to talk about what many women avoid. We are talking about money. But not in the way you are used to it. We are not talking about it, not in fear, not in shame, not in struggle. We are going to talk about money in the language of freedom, because when a woman has her own money, when she understands how wealth is built, she doesn't just feel safe, she feels powerful, she feels fulfilled. So in this session, I want to give you what I call your money map. A new way to see, a new way to feel and build financial freedom on your own terms. We are going to break things down now. There are 3 types of income. I want to talk about 3 types of income. Let's break it down simply. Number 1 is active income. This is where you trade your time for money, a job, a service, a salary. Many people are here. Then another type of income is semi-passive income. You put in effort upfront and then the money flows in over time. Think about coaching programs, memberships, content creation. Those are semi-passive income. Now, the third type of income is passive income. You set it up once and it continues to pay you with minimal efforts. This could be in form of investments, digital products, affiliate income. Most women were taught to only focus on the first kind of income. But you know what? Financial freedom doesn't lie in generating money from active income most of the time. Freedom happens when your money shows up even when you don't. Warren Buffett says that if you don't find a way to make money while you are sleeping, you will end up working for the rest of your life. So this shows how important it is for you to always ensure that you have you are set to have either a semi-passive income stream or a passive income stream. So I want you to release the fear around money. Now, before we get into the strategy of how do we now have this money map, I want to pause, because for many women, just hearing the word money brings up fear. Maybe you've been living from paycheck to paycheck. Maybe you've made decisions that you left that have even left you in debt. Maybe you've tried your worth to how much or how little you have. You have tied your words to how much or how little you have, I want you to release all those fear. I want you to hear me. Your money story can actually change. Wealth is not reserved for the lucky ones. It is not reserved for the, Ivy League. It's not reserved for the married. It's available for any woman, girl. Any woman who decides she's ready to learn, she's ready to shift, and she's ready to build. And I guess you are one. That's why you are right here with me in this live session. So, and today we are going to begin. I am going to actually walk you through 5 simple but powerful passive income paths you can go through as a woman. You don't need to do all 5. Just start with one. Number 1 that I'll be talking about today is digital products. It is an evergreen field. It has different parts. You can do ebooks, sell templates, digital journals, online courses. If you know something, you can teach it, package it, just sell it. Everything is sellable in digital form, online in this age. Women underestimate just how much value they carry. You don't even need to be an expert to be able to do this. That little knowledge you have, you can package it into something and sell it, and it will fetch you cool money. So you just need to be one step ahead of someone else. Anything you know that the other person does not know puts you ahead. So once you are one step ahead of another person, you are already qualified to put that knowledge across. And one good thing about digital products is that it's scalable and it builds while you sleep. That is still in line with what Warren Buffett will want us to do, to find a way to make money while we are sleeping, so that we don't end up working all the days of our lives. Number 2 powerful stream of income you can go through is affiliate marketing. You already recommend things every day. Women will recommend their stylist, your fashion designer, you recommend hair products, you recommend books, tools, and more. So why not earn from all those things you recommend? Share a product you love. Use affiliate links. Don't just recommend for free. Earn commission from your recommendation. It will not increase the selling price of most of those goods, because the sellers already determine the price they are going to sell those products. So whether you promote it to people or not, that is the selling price. So you are not shortchanging the person you are recommending it to. Rather, you are making gain yourself. And the person, if it's a good product, will even appreciate you for it later on. For example, on Amazon, you can do beauty brands, wellness companies. They want you to be the bridge. It's soft, it's soulful selling, and it's very real income. Anybody can do it. Number 3 powerful way you can generate income as a woman is print on demand or merch. I'm talking about semi-passive income now. not just active income that allows you to keep trading your time for money. We're talking about semi-passive income stream now. If you have a message, you can create merch like t-shirts, mugs, journals. You can use sites like Printful, Teespring, or Etsy to sell without holding inventory. Your creativity becomes your cash flow. How cool is that? Another semi-passive income stream you can venture into is investment dividends. For example, you can start learning how to invest even if you begin with just $50. Dividend paying stocks, RITs, ETFs, these are vehicles that grow your money and pay you back. You don't even need to be a financial expert. You just need to be curious and committed. That's all it takes. Number 5 powerful semi-passive income stream you can venture into as a money map is subscription or community access. Oh my God. What you can generate for this is actually mind-blowing. You can create a space, for example, where women pay to grow with you. Maybe it's a monthly mastermind, a book club, or a paid WhatsApp support group. Any of these things can generate money for you consistently if you've built trust, offer consistent value in exchange for consistent income. Now, listen to me carefully. You don't need to do all of this at once. Maybe, I've talked about digital products. I've talked about affiliate marketing, subscription and community access. You don't need to do all 5. You just need to choose one and focus. Confusion will create paralysis, but clarity creates momentum. So I want you to write this down. Which one passive income path am I going to commit to in the next 90 days? Not forever, just 90 days. 90 days is enough to change your life. Now, you can test it, learn it, and build it. And watch how your confidence grows when your cash flow starts matching your courage. Now, here's what I believe, and I want you to believe it with me too. I believe that you are not meant to be stuck in survival at all. That's not what you are destined for as a woman. You are allowed to thrive. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to receive. Your value does not increase because you are exhausted. No. Your power increases when you learn to multiply what's already in your hands. Now, I want you to say this with me. Let's say this together. I give myself permission to earn with ease. I give myself permission to earn with ease. I am building wealth in alignment with who I am. Money is not my master, it's my tool. I am becoming the woman who is financially free. I believe you have said that with me. If you have said that with me, let's just give an emoji, your favorite emoji in the comments. So take a breath and smile at yourself. Smile. And you can say it quietly, what we have just said now, if you need to. I am ready to build. So, in our next session now, we are going to talk about power. But not the kind of power that burns you out. I'm going to show you how to lead, how to live, and how to rise through your feminine energy and still get things done. So stay with me. Thank you, Asma. Now, let's talk about feminine power and energy. You don't have to become someone else to rise at all. Your feminine energy is your greatest power, and I want you to start making use of it. So now, you started building wealth. You have chosen one semi-passive income part, not just the active income. Of course, sometimes one truth I want you to know is that sometimes some of the semi-passive income parts requires a little investment from you, and it is only when you have a supporter or you have an active income source you are in already that you will be able to gather some resources to be able to start well, so that you don't get frustrated on the way. So you don't have to go and quit your job at the moment. You just start. And one good thing about most of the semi-passive income is that you don't even have to do it 247. Just create time, 2 hours, 3 hours a day, and then before you know it, a week, a month, 90 days at most, your business is up and running. How cool is that? So you have started building wealth on your own terms, and you've mapped out your own income. You've taken those bold steps and you said yes to more. And now I want to talk about the part of you that is tired. Not just physically tired. I'm talking about the woman in you who is tired of performing, of grinding, of pushing, of trying to become a version of success that doesn't even feel good in her bones. I want you to know that you don't have to become someone else to rise. You can build, you can actually lead and thrive while being fully, divinely, and powerfully you. Girl, I hope you hear that. So let's talk about feminine power. What's feminine power about? This feminine power does not mean soft music and floating dresses. Though if that's your vibe, own it. Own it. Feminine power is actually creative. It's intuitive, it's wise, and actually magnetic. It's not the kind of power that kicks down doors. No. It's the kind that walks into a room and changes the atmosphere without ever raising a voice. It's being rooted in your body, your emotions, your presence. Is trusting your inner voice over the outer noise. And when you learn to lead from this place, your energy draws in opportunities. It draws in money, relationships, attention, and alignment without constant force. There are two types of energies. We have the masculine energy and we have the feminine. We all carry both masculine and feminine energy. That's one thing I want you to know. Masculine energy is structure, is discipline, is strategy, is execution. But one thing about feminine energy that makes it different is that it is a flow. It's more magnetic. Feminine energy is vision. It's receiving. The problem is most women have been conditioned to lead like men. We've been told work harder, hustle more, be tough, push through so that you can make it. And what happens? We burn out. We feel disconnected. We achieve but we don't feel alive. True success is not built through one energy alone. It's built by honoring both and letting your feminine actually lead. If you are enjoying this section, please like this video and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you. So, what does feminine leadership look like in real life? Feminine leadership looks like listening to your body before making big decisions, creating space in your calendar to breathe, not just to walk and work yourself out. It means allowing joy, creativity, and sensuality to flow through your day. It means speaking with compassion and still commanding respect. Feminine power isn't weakness, it's passivity. It is deep, it is grounded presence. Feminine power is knowing I don't have to chase what is already mine. That's powerful. Now let's talk about feminine power in business and money. In business, we are told to dominate markets, crush goals, But feminine energy doesn't crush, it cultivates. You don't need to become louder, you need to become clearer. You don't need to work harder, you need to work from alignment. When you lead from your feminine energy, you magnetize clients instead of chasing them. I believe you love that. You attract income from ease, not from desperation. You collaborate, you uplift, and you co-create and not just compete. And you do it all while being fully you. That's the most interesting part of unleashing your feminine power. Now, let's talk about ways, practices you can involve in to reconnect with your feminine power. I'm going to give you a simple but powerful practice to help you connect with your feminine energy every day. Of course, you won't need to go through a retreat. You can do this right now. Number one is your body awareness pause. At least once a day, close your eyes and then place one hand on your heart, on your belly or on your head. I'll ask, what do I feel? What do I need? Then listen. That's the body awareness pause. Listen. Number two is creative flow time. You need to carve out 15 to 20 minutes for creativity, like painting, dancing, journaling, designing. Creativity is not a luxury. It's your feminine voice expressing herself. Then another way to bring out your feminine power is through sacred receiving rituals. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you received. Maybe a compliment from someone, maybe support, money, or rest. Then train your mind to see that you are always receiving, even when you are not chasing. And with that, you begin to attract more goodness. And then your feminine power becomes stronger. Now, let's affirm together. Let's say it softly or write it down. Let the words land deep in your mind. I want you to say it with me. I lead from presence, not prayer. I lead from presence, not prayer. My feminine energy is not a weakness, it's my power. I attract abundance by being fully myself. I am magnetic, I am whole, and I am worthy. My softness makes me strong. You are not too much, my girl. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming true grace, true truth, and true power. And the world is better because of it. Now, in the next section, we're going to talk about visibility and voice. So stick around, stay with me. We'll still talk about how to step into leadership, how to claim your space, and be seen without even losing yourself. So let's keep going. Sister, this is your rise. If you're yet to subscribe to our channel, please do. Thank you. So far we have talked about money, we have talked about power, but now I want to talk about something most women struggle with, often quietly. Your voice, your visibility, and your leadership. Because it doesn't matter how gifted you are, how wise you are, or how brilliant your ideas may be. If you are afraid to be seen, if you are afraid to speak up, if you shrink in rooms where you are meant to rise, your gifts will stay hidden. And the world will miss the very thing you were born to give. So when I say leadership, I don't just mean having a title. I mean being the kind of woman who changes atmospheres when she walks in, who uplifts others, who dares to speak the truth. A woman who carries her life with intention. Leadership is not about having the loudest voice in the room. It's about having the clearest one. And that kind of clarity, that kind of presence, it starts from within. Now, I want to talk about common fears that block women from visibility. I've coached a good number of women and I've seen these same fears come up again and again. So, fears like, who am I to speak? Will I be heard? I'm not ready yet. Excuse me. What if I get judged or misunderstood? What if I fail publicly? These are some of the common fears, but let me tell you something. Every powerful woman you admire out there, from Michelle Obama to the entrepreneur next door, has felt these fears. So it's not new to you. The difference is that they moved anyway. All these fears are not just peculiar to you. The difference between you and all those successful women is that they just moved. Courage, in actual sense, is not the absence of fear. It is the action in the presence of it. So when you are able to face your fear, that's what makes you courageous. Now, I want to talk about 4 ways in which you can step into visibility and voice. Let's talk strategy now. So, number 1 is that you own your own story. Your story, the pain, the pivots, the triumphs is your greatest asset. You need to stop hiding the parts you think disqualify you. Start sharing the journey that actually shaped you. Because when you share your story with power, other women see what's possible for them. Number 2 is that you should use your platform no matter the size. No matter the size. You don't need 10,000 followers to lead. You lead in how you show up in your home, in your office, online, in your friendships. You can start where you are. Post that video. Post that live. Launch that idea. So don't be discouraged by the size of your platform. Just start. Many people you see having great audience today actually begin with 1. Look at many churches in Africa that are so big, even in the US. Some of them start with 15 members. Some started with 5 people. Some with 3. But today, they are talking about millions of members. That person claiming to make $200,000 online per month, $30,000 per month, or even the person claiming that is now shy to say I'm making $1,000 online per month. All of them even started with 1 sale, depending on the price of their products. Maybe they started with a $1 sale, or a $15 sale, or an $100 sale. But today they are talking about those carrying thousands, and you feel you don't have that testimony yet, and you can't start. No, start from where you are. Share your little story. So you should stop waiting for the big stage. You are already on it. Just start anyway. Number 3 is that you should speak up in the rooms you are in. Whether you are in a board meeting, a brunch, or a Bible study, speak with love, but speak with actual boldness. Don't water down your wisdom to make others comfortable. No, girl. Honor the voice that God has given to you. Number 4 is that you should show up authentically, not perfectly. People don't connect to perfect. They connect to real. That's one thing that you should know. If your voice shakes, let it shake. Actually, you didn't create yourself so. There's a uniqueness in that voice. There's 1 person, 2 person, 3 persons out there that will be the actual thing they love about you. So if your hands tremble, Let them tremble, but show up anyway as the woman you are. That's what makes you unforgettable. Now, let's talk about feminine leadership. What is it about again? It's about impact, not ego. You know, leadership doesn't mean being the smartest in the room. It means listening deep. It means lifting others. It means creating space for other women to actually rise. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You are already enough. You know, and when you show up with love and truth, you create movements without even trying. So here is your challenge, beautiful soul. Post a message this week that speaks from your heart. Say the thing you've been afraid to say. Raise your hand in that meeting. Record that podcast you have been planning to record for the past 6 months. Record it this week. Your visibility is not about vanity. It's about impact. Because one thing is that every time a woman uses her voice, the world shifts. So let's pick this together slowly, gently, as if your soul is listening. Let's start. I am worthy of being seen and heard. I do not shrink, I expand. My voice carries wisdom and power. I lead from authenticity, not performance. I am becoming the woman who makes the room brighter. Who has said that with me? If you have said that with me, say in the comments, I did. Stay in the comments, I am becoming. You are not invincible, girl. You are not small. You were created to become her. The woman who lives with heart, ends with grace, and speaks with purpose. In our next section, still in this life, we'll talk about creating alignment. How to balance all the roles you hold. You know, as a woman, we are hold so many roles. So we are going to talk about how to balance all the roles you hold without losing yourself. Because success without peace is not success. So before we continue, I just want to call out to you. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, do well to subscribe to this channel. And you can also share this live session with your friends and like it for us too. Thank you so much. Now let's continue. The next thing we want to talk about now is alignment, wholeness that feels like peace. You can have the money, the influence, the leadership, and still feel whole, still feel like you. That's what we want to talk about now. Let me ask you something, my sister. What's the point of all this? The money, the business, the growth, if you feel exhausted, disconnected, or like you've lost yourself in the process? What's the point of winning on paper if you are feeling apart in private? Oh my God. What's the point? You were not born just to produce, just to perform. You were born to live whole, to rise in alignment, where what you build on the outside matches who you are on the inside of you. So let's talk about this alignment. What is alignment? Alignment means the way you earn money aligns with your values. The way you lead aligns with your spirit. The way you live aligns with what actually matters to you, not what looks good on Instagram. When you are aligned, there is less force, less pretending, less chasing, and more flow, more clarity, more peace. You know, alignment doesn't mean your life is perfect. No. It means you are honest, grounded, and centered in truth. So many of us, especially women in this age range, 25 to 45, we are juggling so many roles. Building a career of business, maybe raising children, nurturing a relationship, trying to stay fit, stay spiritual, stay sane, and the world says you can have it all. But nobody tells us what having it all really costs. So we are trying to be everything to everyone until we are nothing to ourselves. That's not success. That's self-abandonment. And I know you are done with that, girl. If you are done with that, stay in the comments. I'm done with that. I know you are ready for something deeper, softer, truer. Now, here are 4 pillars of alignment and wholeness. I'm talking about practical pillars that will help you to stay in alignment as you grow. Number 1 is that you need to honor your energy, not just your schedule. Stop measuring your worth by how much you do in a day. Stop tuning into what do I need today. Give yourself permission to rest, pause, shift without guilt. A woman in her power respects her energy. Number 2 is that define your own version of success. Write it down. What does a successful day look like for you? Not society's version, not your parents' expectation, yours. Does it include stillness, family time, travel, creativity, freedom? Define your own version of success. If you don't define it, the world will define it for you. Number 3 way to get aligned is to create sacred space. I mean both daily and weekly. Build rhythms that nourish you. A morning ritual, even just 10 minutes of stillness, journaling or gratitude. A weekly Sabbath, a day to unplug and just be. Wholeness requires space, my girl. You can't hear your soul when your calendar is too loud. Never. Number 4 way to be aligned is to stop splitting yourself. So many women live 2 lives. So many women, they live 2 lives. They have the public version that gets applause and the private versions that's tired, unsure, unfulfilled. It's time to integrate. To be one all honest woman everywhere. I mean everywhere. Because when you stop splitting yourself, your power becomes unstoppable. Excuse me. Hear me when I say this. You get to choose the way you live your life. You get to choose the life you live. You can choose joy over prayer. You can choose depth over noise, peace over performance. You don't owe anyone an explanation for slowing down or for racing up. You owe no one an explanation for changing your mind. You don't owe anybody an explanation for taking a different path. Wholeness doesn't come from chasing more. It comes from coming home to yourself. Now, if you are here live with me right now, I want you to drop this in the chat. My version of success looks like, just fill in the gap. My version of success looks like, share it with us. Speak it out loud. Let's normalize success with soul. And if you are watching the replay, write it in your journal. Get honest. Get clear. This is your blueprint now, not someone else's. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale. Let this word settle into your spirit. I want you to say this with me again. I am allowed to rest and still be powerful. I trust the pace and path of my own life. Success doesn't require self-sacrifice. I choose alignment over hustle. I'm a whole woman, not just a role I play. My beautiful sister, you don't have to prove. You don't have to push. You get to rise from alignment, and that kind of rise is what lasts. So now, in our next chapter, in the next section of part of this video, live section, we'll talk about building your legacy. Not just income, but impact. Because the woman you are becoming isn't just building a life, she's leaving a mark. If you are yet to subscribe to our channel, do well to subscribe. So let's step into that legacy together. Now, quickly, I want to talk about purpose and vocation. Because purpose is not a title, it's the truth you are living to live out loud. It is the truth you are willing to live out loud. Listen, my sister. We have talked about wealth, we have talked about power, we have talked about visibility. But now I want to go deeper into the soul of why you are here. Because real alignment doesn't come from the money you make. Real alignment doesn't come from the money you make. It comes from the meaning you live. It comes from knowing this is what I was born to do. And the beautiful part is your purpose isn't somewhere out there. It's being whispering to you all along. You just need to listen. So what actually is purpose? What is purpose? Purpose is not a job title. It's not a perfect 5-year plan. Purpose is truth. It is the truth you are willing to live out loud. The part of you that wants to serve, to heal, or to uplift. It may show up in your writing, in your parenting style, in your business, in your passion, or in how you love people where no one is watching. Your purpose isn't something you find, it's something you remember. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest desires I hear from women all over the world. That's aligning passion and income. I want to do work that matters and make money doing it. That's what I hear from many. That is possible, that is holy, but it requires courage. The courage to ask, what am I really passionate about? What problem do I feel called to solve? You need to actually ask, because the money is in the problem. What can I offer that no one else can? In my voice, in my way. Passion alone doesn't pay the bills. Hear me. But passion that is packaged with purpose, that's where impact and income collide. Now, let's talk about the balance for a minute, because there is the myth of balance. We are told to balance it all: motherhood, money, relationship, wellness. But here's the truth: balance is a myth. There will always be dishes in the sink when a dream is being built. There will be days when the business needs more of you, and days when your body does, and days when those other dishes or what we need more. So instead of chasing balance, you just need to seek integration. What parts do I delegate? What parts do I prioritize so that things can keep moving? Seek integration. Integration is when your purpose weaves into your life, not competes with it. It means that your work energizes your spirit. You know, it means your schedule includes your joy. It means your values show up in your calendar. So, the power of saying yes to your calling is very critical. You have a calling, and it's not always loud. It's not always convenient. Sometimes it shows up as a restlessness in your spirit. As a woman, you need to say yes. Sometimes it shows up as that idea you keep ignoring, or that nudge to start something. Write, mentor, teach, launch, heal, and you've been waiting for permission. You know, you are waiting for clarity, waiting for the fear to go away. But, beloved, fear is not the enemy, avoiding the call is. You don't need to be ready. You need to say yes, one yes at a time. That's how purpose unfolds. Now, if you are watching live, I want you to pause right now and answer this in the chat or your journal. What lights you up? And what keeps you playing small? Be honest. I'll wait 10 seconds for you. Write what lights you up and what keeps you playing small. Maybe what lights you up is mentoring other women, or speaking, or creating art. And maybe what keeps you playing small is fear of judgment, or thinking you are too late or not enough. But let me tell you, that light inside you, it's not a mistake. And you do not need permission to turn it all the way on. Now, let me show you what purpose in action look like. A mom will start a podcast during nap time to teach financial literacy. A woman who turns her healing into a coaching business for survivors. A 9-to-5 queen who finds fulfillment mentoring younger women at work. None of these women waited to be perfect. They moved in purpose as they were. Because purpose doesn't demand performance, it just demands presence. Now, let's pray together and let this word sink into your soul. I am here on purpose with purpose. My gifts are needed right now. I align my work with my words. I don't have to hustle to be worthy. I lead with truth. Every step I take in purpose makes space for another woman to rise. I believe you have said that with me. Thank you. My beautiful sister, you were not born to play small. You were born to light up the rooms you enter and the lives you touch. The moment you stop waiting and start walking in your calling, that's the moment you become her. So in the next session, we are going even deeper into leadership and legacy. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, do well to smash that subscribe button. Now, your leadership isn't just about position, it's about permission. The permission you give others to rise by rising yourself. Let's take a deep breath together right now. Inhale and exhale, because we are stepping into a sacred conversation. Leadership, and not just the kind that sits in a boardroom or behind a podium, but the kind that starts at your dining table. The kind that whispers through your values. The kind that says, because I showed up as me, others now believe they can too. That, my sister, is legacy. Excuse me. When you hear the word leader, what comes to mind? A title? A team? A TED talk? What if I told you that leadership isn't something you chase is something you embody. You lead when you make decisions with courage. You lead when you speak with truth, and when you speak that truth with love. You lead when you heal yourself and stop passing down the pain. You don't need a stage, you just need clarity. Because every time a woman chooses to live fully and freely, she becomes a roadmap. She becomes a roadmap for someone else. Now, let's talk about leading in business, work, and community. That's the spaces you're already in. How you show up matters. Even in your friendships, leadership is not perfection, it's actually integrity. It's holding the room steady even when your voice shakes. It's mentoring someone behind you while still climbing yourself. That's leadership. It doesn't mean you are all there up already. It's building a business that reflects your values, not just your products. And leadership is knowing when to speak up and when to listen. So, legacy now. Legacy isn't what you leave when you are gone. It's not just that. Legacy is what you are living right now. It is how you treat people, how you show up when no one is clapping. It's the ripple effect of your choices. Every boundary you set with grace, that's legacy. Every little girl who sees you and rise and thinks, maybe I can too, that's legacy. You don't have to be famous to have a legacy. You just have to be faithful. Now, there are 3 pillars of feminine leadership and lasting legacy, and I will quickly share it with you. Number 1 is you should value voice over validation. Use your voice even when it trembles. Don't lead to be liked. Don't lead to be liked. Lead to be authentic. Of course, you must also watch out that not that you are now having purely bad character and people are commenting about that. Of course, we must strike the balance. But your character is good. You are taking good decisions, and some people are complaining. You don't just lead to be liked. You lead to be authentic. If you are always chasing validation, you mute your vision. That's just it. There's no two way around it. But when you speak your truth, you give others permission to do the same. Number 2 is place service over status. True leaders don't lead from ego. They lead from service. Ask yourself, who am I helping? What systems am I changing? Whose lives are better because I existed? That's impact and that's legacy. Number 3 is healing over hustling. You don't have to hustle, You don't just have to hustle your way into legacy. You lead best when you lead huge. A woman who's done the inner work, she becomes a safe place for herself and for everyone around her. And that kind of leadership transforms room. It transforms families and transforms generations. Now, I want to turn this inward. If you are here live, drop this in the chat right now. The legacy I want to leave is, just say it, fill in the blank now. It could be your children, it could be your message, it could be your movement. And if you are watching the replay, write it down. Because the moment you name it, you start building it. Let's see this part of the journey with breath and affirmation. Breathe in, breathe out. So speak this word with me from your belly and from your truth. I lead with love, not fear. My voice creates change. My presence is a legacy in motion. I am a blueprint for rising women. The impact I leave will outlive me, and I choose that with honor. Beloved, You are not just here to get through life, you are here to shape it. You are a woman who lives, who heals, who builds, and when you leave the room, your light still echoes. That is legacy. Now, let's talk about